and welcome to the God is Geek podcast. My name is Adam Cook. It's that name every week. I'm the same person. It's just me, but it's not just me on the podcast. I am joined, of course, by the boo to my Bayonetta, Adam Carroll.
Oh, that's very sweet. Very, very sweet.
Okay. I thought you pulled me up on that because I said you were the Bayonetta to my... I forget which amiibo I was looking at last week. But
either way, you said boo. You call me your boo, and that's all that matters.
Okay. Okay. You also heard him there chuckling away, of course, the Star Fox to my squiddling girl, Gary Bailey.
Alright.
Yeah, alright. I mean, look, we need to have a chat. We need to have a chat as to whether I should drop the amiibo comparisons. Listen, I'm not running out. I've got plenty.
No, you keep doing it.
Okay. Well, there's loads of games to talk about this week, and this is our the title of the episode is the 2018 Pre-E3 Extravaganza. So we're going to do the usual thing we do. We're going to talk about the games we've been playing. We're going to talk about some news, and news is going to kind of segue into basically our big E3 episode. What I'm saying is strap yourselves in, because I think this is going to be a long night. I've been playing then Vampyr, which I think is probably the biggest game on our list, and I thought I'd lead with it, because I've been kind of... I don't know if excited is the right word, but interested. Because I like the genre. I really do like Don't Nod. Like, I'm one of those madmen who... I remember previewing Remember Me on PS3 on a debug build and actually thinking, this might be special. It turned out it was alright. I thought it was a good game, but I like the fact that they would... I feel like they're in a studio that have really interesting ideas for games. Mm-hmm. And Vampyr made me think about the fact, do you know what? There's really not that many games about sort of vampires nowadays. When you think about the past with Castlevania and, that sort of... they were big, popular games.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there, because me being a massive horror fan, this game is very appealing to me. And you're spot on by saying the whole vampire thing, because it's probably my second favourite style within horror. And this... I am very excited for this, but there's something there. I don't know what it is, but I feel as if it's kind of going to let me down, which is bad to say. I just don't know what way this game is supposed to fall.
We can start there then, because that you've just kind of summed up my feelings on the game there, where you said there's something there, because that's how I've not reviewed it. I've played not quite 10 hours. I've not, I want to put more time into it. But the point is there's enough there that I do want to put more into it. I've seen all the mechanics. I understand the way the game works. But I feel like, because we've put out, I think, by the time you listen to this, there's like an hour of me playing it, because I wanted to show kind of all the gameplay facets, like the combat, the story, the conversations, the crafting, I suppose, rudimentary, everything that's in the game. I wanted to kind of show it off, so just like a big long let's play video, because I feel like it's this game. The parallel to this game is Hellblade, where when that game came out, I kind of didn't know what kind of game it was. And I feel like Vampyr's a bit similar. Like, I don't know. I mean, they have been doing developer diaries, but it's a kind of a game I knew I was going to play anyway, so I wasn't rushing to watch, every bit of footage on it. So what do you expect from it, Adam?
Okay, so I'm wondering, how big is this game? First off, I thought it was going to be it seems to have this thing that it's episodic. I don't know why I had this in my head.
It's not.
I think it's because of the Life is Strange thing. I don't know. But
I mean, there are chapters. It's chapter 1, chapter 2. Yeah. It's not episodic. It's just each chapter of the story, like any other story game,
But I suppose, okay, you're going to have to narrow it down. What is the main objective of this game? Because I'm going to be honest and say that I saw Vampyr, I saw little snippets of gameplay, and I went, you know what, I'll wait, I'll hold off. I know where it's set and stuff, but what is the main gist of this game?
In terms of gameplay or story?
In gameplay first.
So I don't want to get people ultra hyped or excited when I give my comparisons, because I think by comparing to the games I'm going to compare to, it's almost doing those games a disservice.
Okay.
But it's kind of like The Witcher 3 if that was all about vampires and you played a vampire, but it's also got elements of, kind of a bit of Bloodborne in it.
So for example, you're really selling it to me now straight away.
That's the thing. That's why I don't want to say this, because it's not like those games as well. So so it's a third-person action-adventure game with kind of the Witcher or Mass Effect-style conversation wheels with, Renegade and Paragon choices. Investigation, like the more you talk to people, you'll unlock other conversational options. There's a lot of dialogue in this game, and it's all fairly well written. It seems like a big game. The game starts... I won't spoil the specifics, even though it's the intro, but basically you awake as a vampire. You don't really know what's going on. You take your first victim. What's the word they use? I can't remember the word they use. It's in the video. But there's a certain word they use, like... I can't remember. But anyway, you take your first victim, and then you're given the basic gist that is... Each district, or if to humans level, so like there's you become you're a doctor anyway. You get enlisted in a hospital, and you're sort of doing research. The irony being, you're a blood specialist. Of course, now you're a vampire. Ha 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 ha. Well done. He's actually specifically a blood transfusion expert, which is again, through the teeth. Yeah. Yeah, it's not on the nose, it's through the teeth. But he so that hospital, there are like 10 plus people that you can talk to, and each of them have their own stories and dialogue options, and you learn thing X about person B by speaking to person A, and then you'll learn something more, and you can keep going back to them and advancing the conversations. Okay. By doing so... you're progressing the story and understanding more, but also when you're in a conversation, you can hold down L2 or R2. R2 brings up their blood level. Now, what that literally means is if they say their maximum blood level is 4,000 XP, they might be at 2,000 XP. And the way you get them to 4,000 XP is by solving all their hints, understanding all about them. That gets their blood level maximized. Also, their blood level can be infected. They might have a cold, they might have fatigue, pneumonia. You're a doctor. You can craft potions that you can give them by hitting R1, and you literally say, "Are you okay?" And they say, "I'm not feeling very well, doctor. Can you help me?" You can give them that medication, which also, if they say their standard blood level is 2,000, but it's dropped to 1,700, that medicine will get them back up to their base level. That's the one side of things. You can do that. The other side is you have a thing called a mesmerize level, which you start obviously at level 1. Every character you can interact with has their own mesmerize level from 1 up to, I've seen like 5, 6 more, I think. And if you match or are higher than them, and say I have a mesmerize level of 2 and Adam Carroll has one of 1, I can mesmerize you, and basically what you get then is this really dark scene of like blood on the floor. It kind of all goes red, and you walk them slowly off because they trust you. You've mesmerized them. You walk them slowly off to like a dark corridor somewhere, and you feed on them, and then you get whatever their blood. So if they had 2,000 XP, you get 2,000 XP, which is a significant amount. So that it's worth your while to say bump them up to 4,000 by doing all the investigation work, because then you get 4,000 XP if you choose to kill them. However, this is all people in every region. So, for example, the hospital region has its own level. And if you just go around killing everyone, that level will essentially descend into chaos, which means you're going to have enemies all over the shop. It's going to be degraded. It's going to be a horrible place. So there's this social element where you can choose to feed and make the game easier, essentially, by being really high level or not. And that's very interesting because I'm not sure at the point I'm at if it works as well as they want it to. Like, it's supposed to be this big thing of, should I feed on Adam Carroll? Because if I do, I'll get 4,000 XP. But if I do, I'm going to ruin this area. But then it doesn't so far seem a big enough thing. If I were to just wipe out an area, I'm not going to, because like we were talking about the other week, I don't play games that way. But if I were to do so, I'm not sure... Because I'm in an area at the moment that is like into chaos, and it's like, yeah, there are lots of enemies and stuff, and it's a bit dark and dingy, and it's all horror-y and gothic and a bit bloodborne-y with, people carrying torches and shit. But I'm not sure. You know what I mean? Because it is a hard game.
It's interesting that you say that, though, because everything you just said there immediately has just taken away what I actually thought was going to be the game. So, from what you have said, it sounds like the game is a lot slower than what I thought.
So what I've described there is one half of the game, the Mass Effect Witcher style conversation stuff. The other half is in areas that are very specifically areas, like there are dungeons almost, like you. And some of that lets it down a bit. Like there'll be some load scenes, like where you open a door and it loads into the next area, and that area is like your quest area where you're supposed to be. But sometimes, because of the sort of London aspect, it's like a grate. It's like it's a grated gate. It's not a wooden door. So you can see the other side and there's still a load. And it's a tiny little thing, but it's that kind of, if this game had a bigger budget, they wouldn't have done that kind of thing. But that has all one side. The other side is the combat system, which is a melee action game. So you've got two weapons in left hand, I think it is, and two in right hand. And if you hold a two-handed weapon, you can only, obviously hold... And so you can have a gun and there's stun damage. So a bit, how in God of War, if you hit them with your stun attacks, you can build up like a finisher. Mm-hmm. What this does is if you stun them enough, you can bite them. And by biting them, you get blood, because you've got a health meter, endurance meter, and a blood meter, and the blood is blood magic. So you can throw a spear of blood if you unlock it, that kind of stuff. Like you can put a shield up in front of you. You've even got an ability. So if you get hit certain ways, your health goes down. I don't mean you lose health. I mean the max health level drops, and you have to. I forget that it's something anthrophagy or something. I forget the word. But there's a skill you unlock at the start of the game, which if you hit that, you use your own blood to get your health back up to max, essentially. So there's all this. It's a melee game.
Sounds
like I say.
Really deep.
It is very deep. It just doesn't. It doesn't feel quite right. I can't quite put my finger on it because does it
feel like all these things that are happening? Is it almost a case where it doesn't seem to suit it?
I think it's good. It's a good game. I just don't think it's an all right game.
No, definitely. They probably do work. But what I'm saying is, like, would you have preferred to have just been a straight up like Vampyr? Not for me, because I find that this is a hugely personal thing. Some people will absolutely love the setting of this game. I'm not a big fan of the kind of, I guess, what would it be, Victorian London kind of. Even being a fan of Bloodborne.
Fucking hell. But that game's all about the action, the story you have to really search for. There's a lot of dialogue in this game. You'll come into a combat situation and someone will go, "Oh, fucking hell, go on, get that fucking leech." It's real. It's that kind of accent, a lot of it. And
right. You just want to kill them all.
Kinda. I mean, there are lots of different enemy variants already. Like some have got guns, some are pitchforks. There's some sort of weird, not human, not vampire thing. I fought a werewolf in a boss battle. Well, it didn't say it was a werewolf. It was a werewolf, and I actually died. So another little thing. I'll tell you how I can sum this up. I feel like if this game was an exclusive, it would be better. And by that I mean, how like Sony take Bloodborne and make it better than all the Souls games because of the money they throw at it. How Microsoft with Gears of War, these just amazing experiences. I feel like Don't Nod as a studio, I'd love someone to give them the kind of budget a God of War game or a Gears of War game gets. I'd love to see what they can do because they clearly have all these ideas. But so just these little things like, animation things, like you don't put your weapon away, you just kind of put it in front of you and it disappears. Because it's where the hell are you sheathing that huge, great two-handed weapon? It's vanished. You know what I mean? But your gun appears in your hand when you turn to use it,
But that's kind of an interesting thing you said there, right? But like, are we at a stage in games where things like that are just not acceptable anymore? Like, I just think it could make it better. No, definitely. Like, I do notice those things straight away, as anyone else would who plays video games. For me, I do kind of go, oh, that's a shame, because I do like that, because we've had moments of like the weapon being put away, and you just feel like an absolute like badass, like throughout the whole thing. Yeah. So like, I do understand, but is that just one minor thing?
Well, no, you see, that's the thing. It's a lot of little things that I think stop it from feeling like a real high-end AAA game. Like, I don't think this is a bug because the developers sent over their list of known bugs and this wasn't mentioned. But so, for example, the werewolf fight is one of the tough ones early on. And I think it's intentional because I think the idea is, like, if you're struggling, why don't you go and take some of those human lives and level yourselves up a little bit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was determined not to, so I went and leveled up based on the XP I've got from just fighting and stuff and doing little other side quests. And what I noticed after dying 3 times, so you've got you can craft items, like one gives you a health, one gives you blood. It literally a quick refill for your blood meter, that sort of stuff. And I noticed that I went into the battle with like a full clip of pistol and a full clip of shotgun ammo, or 2, and you can hold 2 of each of these potions. And I finished the boss battle when I died, and when it reloaded, they were all still gone. And I think that's wrong. If you're basically reloading for me, like, you're reloading because when I go back to the boss fight, it jumps in again. Even how the werewolf jumps in Gary, what's the bridge, the Dark Souls first boss battle, the bridge demon that jumps in? It's similar to the one in Bloodborne, the Taurus demon, and in Bloodborne it happens as well. He jumps off, you can hear him howling. It's similar. He jumps from off screen onto you, and you start fighting. And every time you start the boss battle, you get that scene. So it's like, okay, it has loaded me in from before the boss battle, yet everything I consumed is still gone, which is a bit Souls-like, isn't it? Like if you die and you use 9 blood vials or something in Bloodborne, it's still gone. But the rest of the game isn't that. But then it also has kind of got that regain system, because if you upgrade your weapons, you can actually have it so when you hit someone, you absorb blood, and obviously by absorbing blood, you can hit L1, which is your default skill to heal up, sort of thing. Like there's a lot of elements at play, but
I'm amazed at how much is going on in this game.
Yeah, I really didn't think it was going to be this. Like I say, it is very much like, for me, The Witcher, but vampires. And then that's not fair on The Witcher, because The Witcher 3 is amazing, and this is all right. The thing is, I do want to keep playing it, and that says something, I think. I'm not in love with it. I just feel like there's something about the combat that it doesn't quite feel right. I can't, again, 6-7 hours maybe, I just can't quite put my finger on it. Like, it's a bit too easy to wander into an area, fight 2 guys, then realise, oh shit, hang on, that guy's a boss, he's got a boss bar up, and again, a bit Souls-like. You can just wander in to a fight you are not prepared for, and you are up shit street. But again, I don't feel when I get to those, I'm like, so you get, you can. I forgot to say this. If you click left stick, you've got like Batman Detective Vision or Witcher senses or whatever you want to call it, and you can scope people out. You can look at their weaknesses. They might be weak to gunshots, or strong against melee, or weak against blood magic or shadow, or whatever it's called. But all of this is fine, but like again, it feels like it's missing a button to go into stealth mode. So you scope someone out and you can see them. They're just on the floor in an animation where they're like feeding on a corpse, right?
Yeah.
So you walk up to them slowly, and if you get there slowly and quietly, you can press X to automatically stun them, then you can feed on them, giving you the advantage. But there's no stealth mode. So sometimes you get to them and they don't see you, and sometimes they do.
How is there no stealth mode?
Right? You're a vampire, right?
Yeah. That's the whole fucking point, is you're basically a real-life Batman.
Uh-huh. And it's really weird to me that it's literally like walking up behind you 5 times, and 3 out of the 5 you'll see me, and 2 out of the 5 you won't. But there's no real reason I did everything the same every time. Like, that is, to me, I don't get it. Like, why not just have a button put you into crouch mode?
So say if you go into an area with enemies and you take an enemy and you're feeding on him, like is there a certain like length of time that animation happens for?
It's a bit like the glory kills, and when you say feeding on, you're doing it too much credit. It is literally called like bite, and you bite them, and you take some of their health to feed your blood meter. It's never much. So you can upgrade that, but it goes into an animation essentially, like in God of War, where I think you're invulnerable, but I can't quite tell.
So you telling me that when you do this, it takes some of their health, which leads to then what? The enemy turning around and going, oh shit, a vampire, and trying to attack you?
Well, no, you can do this mid-fight. Like, they literally have a health bar and a stun bar. So if they've got 2 lots of stun bar, you hit them twice with your stake, and they go then they're biteable. Once you bite them, then the next time the stun bar will be 3 bars. If you do it again, it'll be 4, and so on and so forth. Like, it's literally, and that's another one of the little problems this game has. Like,
stealth thing is really weird. That's really weird.
It is really weird, but like so all these really important characters that you can have dialogue with, right? Mm-hmm. It makes this huge thing of, do I feed upon them? Do I take their lives to get better? However, in combat, you're just biting everyone all the time, because it's a way of recharging your blood bar, which gives you, magic attacks that once you've unlocked them, you can use them. So there's this dichotomy of, oh no, you shouldn't do it, or should you? Well, maybe you should, but then it's just like, whatever. And that to me is another one of it's sort of failings in that it's neither one nor the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
I do like it. I don't think it's amazing, but it's definitely compelling enough. There's something about it.
I'm definitely giving it a go. But one thing you haven't touched on is how is the protagonist of Jonathan Reed?
He's all right, actually.
Is he okay?
It's hard to tell, because I think I've got to the point where I don't know if it's good acting or bad acting, because it's all this Victorian, I should say, sir, I am a doctor and I believe that this is the correct procedure, and I can't tell if that's, I can't tell if it's good anymore, or if it's basically, I can't tell if it's appropriate or Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I wouldn't watch. If there's a TV show with that kind of stuff in it, I probably wouldn't watch it. It's not my thing.
Oh, so do you not watch Sherlock?
The Cumberbatch one?
The BBC. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think that's like that. I mean, they're well-spoken
pretty
lads.
Like that. It is pretty like that.
Okay.
There is a lot
that's
of
probably as far as I'd go. Oh, there is maybe, but a lot of blah, 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 blah. I like it. I don't love it. I am still playing it. I think I want to keep playing it, but I don't know if I'll see it through. The story's okay. It's all right. I mean, it is literally you become a vampire. You don't know who sired you, and the long game here is you want to find out who sired you and get revenge on them. But there's this other thing of there's the Spanish flu, I think they call it, that's taken over London and killing people off. But I mean, I'm guessing that's just their code name of vampires are killing everyone. Gaz,
you're quiet here. I want to know: are you staying quiet because of the Bloodborne references?
No, I've been on the fence with this game for a while. It's when they first announced it, it's it's a good idea, but will it work? And it kind of sounds like it's still in that same place.
Yeah, I mean, you say you're on the fence. I still am too, and I've played it.
All I want from this is for someone to go, you know what, vampires are cool. Let's make another Soul Reaver game.
Oh. But that's the thing. That's kind of like that historical kind of vampire in games are cool thing is why this excites me. And I think it's going to be too gloomy for some. Like there's no funniness in here, but it ain't not in the way I talked about Detroit. Like I kind of get it in this one, I don't know. If I were to score it, I don't know that I would be ready to do so yet. But
is this a fully priced game?
Yeah, it's a full game, mate. It's a full game. I just wonder if this had another 12 months and another lots of money thrown at it. It maybe could have been something special, because I do feel like Don't Nod keep having these really interesting ideas, and they never kind of get their juice,
Yeah, it's difficult. But I feel it's very difficult though with the theme of horror. I think
it's not easy.
It's just too easy. Like if you take, for example, that new game Agony just came out and it's apparently just an absolute disaster.
Yeah, Chris is covering that.
Like I still want to play these games though, because I think the horror genre within video games is it can be so fucking nuts. Like,
but the trouble is like if you make someone a super powerful vampire, then the game's no fun because it's too easy.
No, definitely. But why can't a game of a vampire come out where it's like the beginning of a vampire?
Yeah. And that's what this is. I mean, it feels at times a bit clumsy. Like it doesn't feel like the production values feel okay. It looks okay. I'm not sure about the visuals in terms of the faces, but the game controls a bit clumsy. Like I don't feel like I've got in the way you have a precision in Bloodborne, it's like, hit, dodge, because you've got to dodge in this, hit, dodge, watch your stamina recover. Maybe you need a riposte or something. I don't know. It's just a parry. Sorry, maybe it needs a parry, and that because there's a lot of melee in this and a lot of guns, and maybe it needs the kind of Bloodborne quick shot,
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I am enjoying it, and I am probably going to play some more of it. But, if you're really still on the fence, go and have a look at the video, because there is some, not glitchiness, but there is certainly some jank in terms of the way it moves, the way, there's one bit in the video where a guy, I find a side quest boss and he just jumps on me, but the camera fucks up in a way that he jumps, and the next time I see him, he's already on me, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm there. It's that kind of not, fully fleshed is not fair, but it's not quite what it could be. But, we'll talk about Vampyr some more, I'm sure. That'll be the test if I'm still talking about it next week, won't it? That's the truth. But I am interested in playing another game. I haven't had time to play it yet. I did play the beta. Gary's playing the final version of ONRUSH. And this game excites me because, in fact, I want to compare the studio behind it to Don't Nod, because it used to be Evolution Studios, didn't it, Gaz?
Yep.
Motorstorm. And I always felt like they had some bad luck in terms of release dates. Do you remember, what Motorstorm was it where they released Apocalypse, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where there was a tsunami, I think, in Japan?
Yeah.
Was there an earthquake? And postponed the release?
Delayed it, didn't they?
Yeah, and ONRUSH is out, well, at the time of recording, it's pretty much out. It's right before E3, which is not usually a good spot for a game.
It's the same day as Vampyr.
It is. And from what I played of ONRUSH, the beta, I said I've got the final version to play, I really liked it. So I'm interested to see then, cool. Is it getting a doing in terms of release date? Is it a good one? Where are we at with it?
I'm enjoying it. It's...
Let me ask you a question. Hang on. I've heard... sorry, I will let you speak, I promise. I'm going to go on record and saying that although, yes, all right, technically it is, it's not really a racing game in terms of what you expect when you say to people, hey, do you want to play this driving game? It's not what people will expect, is it?
Nope. Well, even it actually says in the intro, it's like, this isn't racing.
Yeah.
It's...
Why?
It's all about... weirdly, the best comparison is Overwatch.
Thank you. Gaz, we genuinely have not spoke about this. I promise you, listeners and Adam, we have not spoken about this. That's exactly the thing I was thinking.
It's made like Overwatch, but as a racing game.
It's like the hero shooter of racing games, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like you've got all these different vehicle types which each have their own special abilities. So already you're kind of like, oh, that's like your characters, your Anna, your Mercy, or whatever. You can tell that I've not played Overwatch in a while.
I was going to say there's a lot of them now, and you could only do 2.
But yeah, I mean, I think my only issue so far is the same issues I had with the beta, which is stuff like it's not always. Like, you don't always know why you've been knocked out. You know, like, you've been hit by another car, but you're also sort of going into them at the same time, and you're the one that comes off worse, and you don't understand why.
Did they tweak I forget if we talked about this on the podcast or not, but one of the issues I had was that sometimes, like, someone would hit a jump above you, and they'd kind of clip the corner of your car, but that's too much, you're gone. And I found the collision was slightly... Not a lot, and easily patchable slightly off. Is it the same?
It's better, but it's still there.
Okay, good. Okay.
It's nowhere near as prevalent as it was. But yeah, I mean, it's still as mad as it was in the beta. Everything's exploding all the time. One thing I've noticed as well is, when you use like your ultra move, I forget what it's
because
called.
That's a thing I didn't quite understand in the beta, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, it's essentially like it builds up that meter for the length of time you're boosting. Yeah. So once you've boosted so much, it gets 100%. You can use this move. And
no, I got that. It's just the actual abilities I found a bit confusing.
Yeah, I have paid a bit more attention this time to what each of them do, and it does make sense. Like, there's one of them which is one of the bikes. It basically puts out a big flaming trail behind it. If you hit that, you're gone. It's...
Yeah, and there's one that drops shields behind you. Well, not shields, sorry, barriers behind you as you drive.
And that will slow down the other.
I really liked the beta, mate. What's in the full game that I couldn't have played?
There's a full-fledged campaign.
Is there?
Yeah, it's
wow.
It's called Superstar.
Cool.
And it's pretty simple. It's just like, here's a load of events, and it's all just the same game mode you play in like the multiplayer, but it's all AI. But I was worried at first because the AI is going to be terrible, innit? Like, let's face it, you play most sort of online games. You play with what would normally be online games. You're playing with the AI and it's crap because the AI is stupid. Like Left 4 Dead was one of those. Left 4 Dead, the AI was they were all stupid, but you play with other players and you can easily survive. Most of the time. But the AI is always like doing its part basically, and you can have really tough matches. The only downside to that is, obviously, you've got to get wins and stuff like that to progress, and you're now sometimes having to rely on the AI being good and doing its part all the time, and sometimes it does have issues, but it's not been too much of a barrier so far. I've not struggled in progressing.
But Adam mentioned, like, why isn't this a racing game? And I suppose we need to address that. But I mean, for me, what makes it not a racing game is that, like, there's no first place. You know what I mean? It's not. Okay. We might be racing against each other on the same team, but it's not about whether I beat you or not. These are all, you think about a shooter. Think about how the basic version of a first-person shooter is deathmatch. I'm sure there's an equivalent here, but it's like this is more a racing game with capture the flag kind of those kind of modes in it.
There's an actual zone capture mode where you've got like a zone that's constantly just ahead of the action, and then you catch up to it, and obviously you've got to try and keep in it, and it'll build up a meter, and then you'll score a point. And like there's the main mode, which I'm blanking on the name of it, but you're not racing. It's all about getting stuff like takedowns, and you're all using it's all about your boost basically, and stuff like you'll hit. There's little AI guys that appear, which it's one hit and they're dead, but they're there to serve to give you an extra bit of boost. And the longer you boost, the more points you get for your team. And I think it's usually up to 10,000. First to 10,000 wins that round, and you have several rounds. It's either best of 3 or best of 5, depending on just the event itself. The closest thing to a race one is the gates. Again, I won't mind, but I've been playing it just before we came to do this, and I can't remember the names of things.
But it is one of those games where it's like lights and colour just exploding in your face. Yeah. So I don't think the thing you're going to notice is the names of the modes.
Well, I mean, sorry, I'll go back to that in a minute. The gate one is, it's like, like checkpoint races in arcade games where you've got to hit the checkpoint and it extends your time.
Well, reminded me of ski slopes slaloming.
Yes, because you've got to go through these gates, and the timer for each team is constantly going down. And if you hit a gate, it goes back up a little bit, and obviously the one that doesn't go to 0 wins. And that's the closest thing there is to racing in it. It just so happens to be you're in vehicles and you're going round a track. But that's there's no, let's say there's no first place.
But to compare to, like, because we won't spend a lot of time on this one, but to compare to another sort of arcade racer that's out the same month, I played The Crew 2, and I was the beta. I was quite excited about this, but I don't know if I need to play more of it. But I tell you what, if a game's going to do a story in a game, they need to get you in the action a bit fucking quicker. I don't know how much you played of it, Gaz. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I played a little bit, and I'm just like, every time you've done an event, it's like, right, I'm just going to chat. And I got to a point where I was just like, skip every time.
Like, I just want to race. I just want to race. Yeah. And it was only, and I was like, I'm going to delete this. And it's only when I hit the off-road event, I was like, actually, this is good. This is fun. I like this.
Massive improvement. The off-roading on the first game was bobbins.
But like the amount of sort of try-harding in terms of trying to be Forza Horizon in this game is a bit much.
Yeah.
And I realised that I probably am going to play the final version at some point, the retail, proper game, not the beta, I'm going to have to skip this all now because there's no way I'll make it through a second time. And the other thing that disappointed me about The Crew 2 is I was expecting from the trailers and from preview stuff I'd seen that you basically, if you're driving around, you can hit up on the D-pad and you become a plane. And I didn't unlock that in the beta. I didn't get much time with it. So...
Yeah, I haven't.
I was very much, here's a map. Do you want to do a boat race, or do you want to do a car race, or a plane race? And I'm like, well, I wanted to do whatever I fancied,
Yeah, I think it's just one of those games that I'm assuming you spend a little bit of time, maybe once you've done all those events.
Yeah, but do people play racing games for that, Gaz? Like, I'm going to guess that the beta of ONRUSH, the way they introduce you to that game, is the same as it is on the final game, where it's basically like, here's an explosion and a car flying out, drive this motherfucker. And that's how you start a racing game.
Yeah.
That's how you get people...
I wanted to say that exact line as well.
But it's like a shooter. I want to shoot a gun because I need to know how the gun feel is, because it's a shooter. A racing game, I want to be in control of the car right now so I can get the feel of this car. It's a racing game, a driving game.
I just want to say to like any person that like creates a racing game, it's okay if you just leave out a story.
Absolutely okay.
I just don't give a shit about a story in a racing game, like, because I cannot get invested. At the end of the day, I know what's going to happen. Go on.
Gary, don't spoil it because I know you know. What do you think the first thing you do when you press start on the Crew 2 beta is?
It's some fucking guy talking to you, and he's like probably going to...
No, worse.
Oh, is it a crew of people talking to you?
No, you have to pick your character. You have to pick your character, and each one of them has got a slogan like, I don't have to win races, I just want to. Oh no, or is it the other way around, Gaz? I don't want to, but I think
I automatically zoned out when I saw those.
But see, when those things happen in games, right, this is the fucking shit that drives me crazy. I can probably take a guess that 95% of gamers who might play something like that, as soon as a video game starts with what you just said happens at the start of the Crew, or if some dude is like, hey bro, listen, we're going to do this, you're instantly just going, fuck, I want my 70 quid back.
One of them actually said something like, do you feel the need, but not the need for speed? It was something like that, wasn't it? Like one of them references that, and like my youngest was sat in the room with me as I was playing this, and I'm like, I'm losing him. I can feel it. Like I can feel all this talking. I'm losing him. He's not interested. I want to show him the cool shit where you could go from car to plane to boat, whatever you want to do, and I'm losing him. And then it's like he just suddenly quietly goes, I don't think this is the kind of game I would play. And I was like, yeah, because do you know what? Who's the audience that loves this kind of, hey, bodacious, hey dudes, do you want to? Like, I'm not that person. And if they think it's kids, like then they need to get better market research because kids are not stupid. The days of games for kids being shit are long gone. Kids play Overwatch.
I think if you're going to do that, like, you need to think of the time of like Twisted Metal and Carmageddon. They're these characters that they're just so unbelievably over the top that's the only way I can endure a cutscene within a racing game. And
I can't think of a good racing game with cutscenes.
The closest thing I think would be like Forza Horizon, but they're so. Yeah. They're so short.
But after a while they let you loose, don't they?
Yeah, they end up just sort of they chat over the radio to you instead.
I quite liked Test Drive Unlimited. It wasn't so much a story, but I liked the idea behind going around and building your empire by buying houses and cars. I actually really liked Test Drive Unlimited. Now I think about it.
Is the Crew 2, does it have like live action scenes?
No, that's blissfully not.
They got rid of that.
Yeah, but ONRUSH on the other hand, I think it is. It is actually.
The way it looks is very Watch Dogs.
Oh, Gaz, what if they're linked?
They probably are. It's Ubisoft, isn't it?
They probably are.
There'll be references to everything in there. There'll probably be an Animus reference somewhere.
What did you make of the handling in the Crew 2, actually? Because I found that I would be at not fast but not slow speeds. I'd hit something and it would I'd get a bit stuck on it. Like the reverse didn't seem all that great.
Yeah, it's an odd one because it does seem better than the first game, but it just, I don't know, you don't really feel that connected to the car.
That's yeah.
And
whereas in ONRUSH you feel like ultra
connected
to the movements of the vehicle. Like for the first race in the Crew 2, I wasn't sure if it was kind of auto steering a bit for me and auto braking because I just didn't feel like I was fully in control of it.
Yeah.
There's some cool shit in that game though, like the way it does the old what's the film?
Inception.
Where the road bends in front of it. It's like, this is cool, but then they go, I don't know. I mean, the Crew 2 is a way off. We'll see. ONRUSH, will the review be up by the time people hear this? I've lost track of time, but review coming if it's not up. Gary's reviewing it, and we'll talk about ONRUSH some more. I really am super excited to dig into ONRUSH, and I think that's the one my kids might get, especially if I lead with it's the Overwatch of racing games.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you, Gary, about a game we've also both been playing, and we haven't spoken about this off podcast. I think this game's tremendous of what I've played of it, and I am nervous to hear what you think, but it's a roguelite called Moonlighter. And I think what they do with this game, which we'll explain, is genius. What do you think, Gary?
I agree with that. I'm going to go right ahead and say I don't think the gameplay, like the combat and that, is particularly great.
Okay.
It's good, but I don't know, there's something about it that doesn't feel quite right.
Right.
But the whole idea behind what you do
that's great.
is fantastic.
Tell Adam, because he's going to shit himself when he hits. This is such a... tell him the concept or the conceit of this game. It's genius.
Yeah, you basically think of something like Diablo meets like Dark Souls. So it's like you go into your dungeons, you last as long as you can, you collect all your loot. And then when you get out of the dungeon with your loot, you go and set up your shop and you sell the loot. And that's the way it works. You set the prices, you then have you'll sit there behind the desk or behind the counter and you'll get all these people coming in to buy the stuff. And
so you're the shopkeeper?
Yep.
That's absolutely fantastic.
It gets better. There's a full market economy in this game. Like if you sell a piece of iron for 50 gold, when they go and pick it up, they get like a smiley face or an ecstatic face or an unhappy face to tell you what they think of the price. And so if they go, oh, that's amazing, you go, oh, hang on, I'm being ripped off. So you look at what you sold it for, you check that's right, and you go, okay, let's raise the price. And you have to keep sort of upping it and lowering it to get the sweet spot. And it's based on, what is it, Gaz, they say as well? It's based on want for that product as well, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, it's like a supply and demand, basically.
I might go a little too deep with it here, but is there ever a situation where the customers say, this was cheaper before? Why is it no? Does it ever get that way?
But I don't think so. But there is the fact that you are selling, because there's also your sort of town building as well. And the issue is you might want to get a load of money quickly, but you might need those parts for other things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can upgrade your weapon and armor and stuff like that. And the one thing, I don't know if you've had this in the game yet, Adam, but you can have people trying to steal from your shop as well.
No?
Yep.
Because I was getting a real Zelda-y vibe from the visuals and the kind of, there's your shop, and I was almost half imagining. In fact, don't they say that? Doesn't he give you a sword? And he literally says it's dangerous to go alone, take this.
I'm sure he does.
He literally says that at the start of the game. So I was getting a Zelda-y vibe as it is, and then the fact that they can Zelda thief from you. So what do you do? Because you can't kill him, can you?
No, I didn't catch him in time because I was already behind the counter selling to people, and I just saw a little icon come up with like left trigger. So I assume it's like you go up, you roll into him, and it'll knock out of his hand or something. But I was just like, what the f***? Yeah,
because you can also, by the way, I forgot to mention this. This game's also Animal Crossing because you can make your shop bigger and get like a second floor, I think. And so at the moment you have a table that you start at. I've got a table you can put 4 items on for sale. If you use your money to upgrade that shop, you can have 4 tables with 4 spaces on each. And you can get a discount bin to put stuff in. The idea behind it is just like, again, how's this not been thought of?
Yeah. It's got a bit of like Stardew Valley kind of thing as well. I think it's like people who enjoy that game will get some out of it as well. I think maybe the only thing that might be holding it back for some is the difficulty. So obviously the dungeon stuff is very tough.
Yeah.
Which is where you kind of it always happens, but you have to reference Dark Souls because that's that's the one, isn't it, really, for difficult games. Or Bloodborne, that series anyway. And it has that same kind of thing, you die, you lose your stuff. But not all of it. Because you've got...
Yeah, but it has. You kind of have to. It makes sense because you're literally plundering this dungeon to take your stuff back and sell it on the market. Like, so if you died and there was no penalty for death, it would kind of render the whole economy moot, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But it's like, you don't lose everything at least. It's like, you've got, is it 5? I think it's 5 pocket slots which you can put stuff in. And if you die, they will stay. But anything that's in your bag will be lost.
Is that what okay, yeah. I didn't actually know that.
And there is a thing, I mean, I've not fully worked this out yet, but have you had the little eye appear on yours yet? While you've been running around the dungeons?
The eye appear on what?
In the bottom left corner, you'll have a little eye.
Yeah, so there's some equipment you can get, one of which lets you spend your cash to get out of the dungeon whenever you want. So if you're like, oh, I'm going to die, you can just back out by spending cash. There's also I unlocked another one that does the same thing. However, it also leaves a portal open so you can go back to that point in the dungeon. So literally where you left, but that costs like 200% more. I found like there's certain items that you pick up in the dungeon from treasure chests where you don't know what they are. They've got question marks on them, so you're sort of like, well, I've only got so much inventory space. But this might be crap, but I'll take the risk. But also, some of them have stats on them. Like if you know the Resident Evil inventory game in Resident Evil 4, like in this, like if you put it in a certain thing, it's got like a diagonal up and right arrow that says when you leave dungeon, will destroy item in adjacent spot. So it's like if it's pointing to the right, it will destroy the item in the right, so you kind of want to have that in the item in the far right so it can't destroy anything and stuff like that. There's a lot going on.
Yeah. But that's, I mean, the eye thing that happens is like, it seems to be, maybe if you've spent a lot of time in the dungeon,
right,
this little eye will appear, and it's like something searching for you, and after a while...
Oh, Spelunky, like the ghost.
Yeah, and this massive green slime monster appears and starts chasing you.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that.
I haven't bothered trying to fight it because I'm like, nope, I'm out.
Yep, I've got a lot of stuff. Leave me alone.
Yeah, because it's just I don't know what the terms are for it though, because it seems to be like it's not been like I've been in the dungeon for ages, so maybe that is, and it may be something like when you pick up certain items, or if you've got so much value. Possibly it's then because you get like little shockwaves that come off the amulet icon in the right corner.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's kind of like the start of it. Like it's telling you you're gonna have to.
Could be.
Yeah, you're gonna have to sort your stuff out here because you're probably gonna get murdered. But there's a lot of systems in this game with it.
Yeah.
Some of them, I mean, well, none of them are really explained. You just kind of work it out. Like the stuff with the pricing, you know, you can guess. Like, oh look, they've got a big.
You can intuit it, can't you? That's
yeah,
the thing.
they've got
you
basically cha-ching going on when it's like, shit, they're buying that. Because you can't stop them buying it.
I wondered if there was a way you could, but I couldn't work it out.
Possibly, because I know like they throw the item on the desk and they'll wait for you to press A to sell it.
Yeah.
Whether is a case you can just ignore them, I don't know.
That's why I wondered if you just wait long enough will they go away. I don't know.
But yeah, there's quite a lot going on, and it's very enjoyable. It's the sort of game which you could lose a lot of time to. I was very nearly late for work the other day because I was like, I'm just going to have a quick go before I leave. And I was like, shit, I've got to go like in 2 minutes. Turn off the Xbox. Yeah. That would have been interesting to explain.
Speaking of sort of lovely little games, like this is in our attempt to squeeze every game in before E3 week, or E3 weeks, I guess, coming up soon, isn't it? So Yoku's Island Express, we probably won't dwell on it for too long because again we've both played it, and there's a lovely video on the channel youtube.com/GodIsAGeek that Gary's reaction was the same as mine when he realised what kind of game this was, because I just knew it to be a Metroidvania, but there's a twist, Gaz, another twist.
Yep. What is it? I saw the other day somewhere on Twitter, I think it was, someone described it as a pinballvania.
Yep.
I was like, yeah, that's spot on. And
that's what it is.
This looks amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I knew almost nothing of it when you handed me the review. I was like, okay, cool, I'll give it a go. And I started playing, I mean, it's on the video, that is when I started playing it. And it's just, the realisation was just like, holy shit. Like, it's almost like the Moonlighter thing. It's like, how's no one done this before? Because this is actually a really good idea. It works so well. And it's so much fun.
But does it burn itself out in its mechanic?
No.
That's the only thing I worry about here.
No.
I would disagree with Gary there.
I never got tired of it. Because it changes things up. Like, there's a boss battle. Like, I think you can take the bosses on however you want, with like different, whichever way you want. But or whichever order you want, I should say. And I took on this one first, and you've got like 3 other dudes in there with you, which are also like pinballs, and you've got to direct them to specific points, and then you can do damage to the boss, and you're just like flinging you and these other guys at the boss. It kind of does little things like that to change it up.
I again, say we won't dwell on it too long because we've got a lot to get through, but I just found some of the pinball aspects was like I was getting annoyed of myself a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
might have just been that I needed a break, but you know, I think it's a lovely game. It's doing really well actually. It seems to be getting really good reviews.
Yeah, I think it deserves it. It's a very fun game. It's the sort of game that I think everyone could enjoy.
Would you give it an 8? Was it an 8?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, a game you gave more to that we talked about in depth recently, but we want to mention because Adam wasn't here last week to have a chat about it. It's Dark Souls Remastered.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, love it, Adam. Game of Forever.
Say that again.
It's the best game ever made. Game of Forever.
Oh,
Game of Forever. You say? Thank you. Well done.
I'm going to be honest that like I picked this up in excitement of like. Never played this dark. Actually, do you know what? When I started the game, I remember I did play the beginning of it, but not. I didn't go too far into it. I'm going to say straight out that I know these games. You're not supposed to use this word that much, but I'm just not having fun. I'm just not at all having fun. And that's a thing where I feel nobody is kind of saying because. Deep down they don't want to, or else they just like they find it fucking fun and that's it. This game is like I would like to ask people who have played 2, 3 and Bloodborne, and when they go if this is their first time going to play Dark Souls, the first one, how do they feel about it? Because I see a shit ton of problems, and I know it's the first in a series of games that they progressed on and developed better, I guess. But this game, this is going to make so many people angry. I think this game is so fucking ugly. I think it is. I think it is just not pleasant to look at. I think it's really the texture. I know they've improved in the lighting and stuff, but what way did it look originally is all I'm going to say. Holy shit. Because there's a moment early in the game where you go to a graveyard, right? And there's all these tombstones and
shouldn't
shit.
Be.
Yeah, that's not the right way to go.
You're going the wrong way. I don't know how you'd know that, but you're going the wrong way. From the Firelink Shrine, from the main. Okay, and the skeletons appear. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I know I was going the wrong way because instantly I died straight away when I came down.
Yeah,
to
I
them,
bet you
and
did.
I was like, shit. But see, this is my issue with these games that I refuse to give up. If I get killed, I'll always go back and I make those fucking skeletons. Mate. But when I went there, and to be honest, I got there in the second time and I beat them. Okay, done. So then I was looking around and I was taking in the environment, and I was just looking at it and I was kind of going, "This is fucking dank. This is the only way I can describe this." I'm not trying to I know this game isn't all about its visuals. It's about the gameplay and the challenge. I understand that. But for a remastered game, for a game that has gotten a fucking complete workover and stuff, and there's things like 3, I think Dark Souls 3 is the best looking Dark Souls game, hands down. I think the whole design of the buildings is unbelievable. And I think then Bloodborne is the fucking cream of the crop. But
I agree.
I'm just having.
But
you don't agree?
Do that.
Yeah.
I don't think Bloodborne looks better than Dark Souls 3.
See, and I can understand if somebody says that.
Though, surely.
Sorry?
Artistically, though.
No.
Okay. Well, let's not have this argument here.
Bloodborne's good, but I'm not. But no, I won't go there. I'll leave it.
Yeah, let's not have this argument on this podcast. The one that's looking as long as this one looks.
I know what Gary's saying though, because when I did start Dark Souls,
but again, I'm not going to have this.
But when I did play Dark Souls 3, I was like, "Holy shit!" It looks insane. But
holy shit! They did Anor Londo again. Holy shit! Yeah, sorry, I'm not going to get drawn into this. Go on, carry on.
No, but I'm saying the tone of Bloodborne is more suited to me personally. I love the gothic style, and that's just that. However, going back to what we're actually talking about, I just feel that it's clunky. I feel I play this game and I see everything that they improved upon, and I know that is just the standard way of video game development. I do get that before any listener is just pulling their hair out, but there's a situation where you kind of have to realise, do you know what? I'm just not having fun with this. Because when you have the feeling of... Because Dark Souls 3 was the first, like, of these kind of games that I fully understood and got far in it. Because I know 3 was a bit more toned down in difficulty for some people.
Oh, it had its moments.
Oh, Jesus. Look, it had its moments. But, you know, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, yeah, everyone says 3 because, you know, it's the easiest. I don't give a shit.
Dark Souls 1 is the hardest.
Yeah, okay, so
by miles.
It is. From what I've played anyway. Like, I am dying.
It is, you're right.
I am dying all the time. Like,
right.
it is so unforgiving. Like,
can I give you a piece of advice?
Yeah.
Learn how to parry. Like,
yeah,
if you can get that parry timing down, so much of the game becomes easier.
And I did it once or twice, and I was like, oh, brilliant. This fucking parrying thing is excellent. But I know you're going to, like, hate this, guys, but the thing about it is, I loved every single aspect of Bloodborne, okay? Uh-huh. Now, I know the Souls are different, but in terms of its gameplay, in terms of the aggression that's in Bloodborne, that, for me, is what I am about when it comes to these games. I can't just do an Irish jig around the enemies and fucking freak out and parrying is all off. And then this also brings me to my other point. I'm not gone in the level design of this one. I think it is, in some cases, very messy. Like, I'm looking around kind of going, where am I going? And I know that's the point of these games, again, where you find your shortcuts, you find your way of skipping certain enemies. I get that. But when there's a certain area early in the game, and now I don't know how to describe this, but it's in almost like you're in a kind of an area surrounded by loads of concrete and stuff, but there's like these 3 massive chests, and I opened all of them. Then I was kind of looking around going, where the fuck do I go? There's no ladder, there's nothing at all for me to climb onto, but there was this little crack that I could see that had another chest, and it went through there, and that's where I had to go, where it led me to fall down to the graveyard with the skeletons. Okay? Now, my problem was, when I was walking around, I didn't feel like I was discovering these. I felt like I was falling into these areas by mistake. And when I was fighting certain enemies, such as the skeletons, they come at you. Like, there's a lot of, like, stepping back, going backwards, and then you'll fall off a fucking cliff or an edge or something. And I'm just like, where am I now? And that, to me, really hurts my brain. It really hurts my fucking brain, especially when you get killed and you don't... I just don't feel like my progression was good. I feel like I've just been potluck the whole way through. Now, to other people, I know, guys, you're a fan of this. I know, Adam, you're a fan of it. I discussed it with you over, like, Slack and stuff, my issues with it. But I would like to know, like, anybody else who's in the same position as me to pick up this remaster for the first time. Are they clicking with it instantly because even though they've played the others?
I don't think it's for you. I said this a while ago, I think off podcast. I don't think this game is for newcomers. I think Dark Souls Remastered is exactly what you think it is. It's a game where they went, oh, we can sell this game looking a bit better to the people who loved it all over again, and they'll buy it, and they have, and they will, and they'll love it, and that's fine. And there's certainly a place for that, but I don't think in the way, I don't think there's anything anywhere near enough done to make this game seem any less obtuse than it was the first time it came out. You know?
And like I was there and I was picking my classes and I was going through it all, and I was kind of in my head knowing, okay, this is a Souls game again now, so this is like defense all the time for majority of the time.
Well, see, so not I just for me.
I just went with a standard, like, knight, okay? So I had my shield, had my sword, had my armor. I was like, cool. So I went on. And then I pressed circle to evade. And my lord, the fucking speed of him rolling. I don't even think a human being can roll that slow. Like, and this is a fucking video game that I'm playing. Like, that for me was just like, no, I am going to be so bad at this game because I'm not getting around fast enough, and it seems to focus, as you said, Gary, like you were saying, the parry, do it all the time, and this game becomes your thing. That's all well and good, but like, I want to fucking fight these guys. I want to feel how I feel when I play Bloodborne. Like, and I know, but even Dark Souls 3, when I played that, I felt a bit more of a badass. I don't know what it is. I just feel, I feel very useless.
Didn't they take the sidestep from Bloodborne into Dark Souls 3? Or am I mixing games up?
Yeah,
like,
Dark Souls 3 did take a lot from Bloodborne. It was basically the same movement system. They'd obviously just transported in stuff like the weight and, armor weight and stuff like that, and actually gave you some options with weaponry and stuff,
Yeah, and magic and stuff.
But, but yeah, I mean, I love Dark Souls 1 is still a cracking game. I gave it a 9 for a reason.
Yep.
But that said, there is such a difference between that first game and what the current games are. You can see what they changed to improve the gameplay, and it genuinely did. I know you get the fans that'll moan that things aren't the same, and it's just like, well, yeah, because otherwise you'd complain if they were exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at what happened with Dark Souls 2. A lot of people said it was too similar, and the stuff they did change. It's like, no, I don't like that because it's not the same as the first game. It's like, fuck's sake, just make up your mind what you want.
What do you want?
Yeah, it's like, you bunch of moaning pricks. He says, moaning about them. But, but yeah, I mean, I said this, I think, in Slack. I was just like, I couldn't give this game a 10.
No.
Even back in the day, I couldn't have given it a 10. A lot of that is down to certain areas in the game, which, I mean, they've been improved in terms of frame rate now, but the actual design is exactly the same.
The frame rate situation, fantastic. Every fucking one of these games should be like that.
Yeah,
like that is just how it is. I think it's amazing. Like, I'm not trying to, like, I know it sounds bad, but like, I'm still suffering also from this God of War fucking.
See, I think I've got out of that now because I think I had to review Detroit, and I think I've played enough games since. I think that's the way to get out of it, mate. You just got to just chuck a load of games in your disc tray and just get on with it.
And
that's how it's
not at the same time. That'll break it.
No, that'll break it.
Like, that's what I'm trying to, like, do as well. I think that might have a situation, because don't get me wrong, I know that this game is loved by people. It's remastered for a reason. People wanted it. And the thing is, my favourite thing about these types of games is being part of, like, the community where everyone talks about it. Which route did you go? Did you find this boss? Did you do that? And that, like, when you're doing your Let's Play, Gary's, they're so much fun to watch, and that's the whole purpose.
There's the thing about the Souls games; they are the one Let's Play or live streams I can't look away from. I don't know why.
Yeah, massively. But there is a situation for me that when defeat is handed on a fucking silver platter every 5 minutes, I'm just like, listeners can be like, listen, mate, you're just shit at the game, and that's simply it. Then grind. I am simply shit at the game, and that's the way it works. But you have to pull the plug somewhere. Like, I can't just keep struggling and not enjoy a game. Yeah. And it's so weird to feel that way about a video game, because I don't ever feel that way about video games.
I know you won't like me for saying this, but that's exactly how I felt with Celeste. I had to. I mean, luckily,
I don't like you for saying that, Gary.
No, equally.
Yeah. Luckily though, it did that whole thing of where you can still play it through. You had I forget what it's called. It's like the assist system, whatever it was.
I'm going to enjoy the Game of the Year podcast, because Gary, you are going to get the biggest beatdown in history when it comes to Celeste. Like, me and Adam, and I suspect Chris, are just gonna. I don't think Nicholas played it. You're just gonna be in the corner crying, mate. Like, you are.
Like, I am going to just put it out. I'm just going to say, guys, right? I am, come Game of the Year podcast, you're going to get the angriest me of all time. Like,
Kratos.
It is coming. It is coming.
Okay. Well, look, let's get into some news, and let's talk about something else that's coming, because there's a rumour that might be this year. We don't know anything about it, but Bethesda, actually, for a little while, I wondered if they were going to stick that Twitch stream up right up until E3, which would have been amazing. But they didn't. 24 hours later, they announced Fallout 76. Now, there's rumours from Kotaku this is an online survival game, kind of. We don't know anything about it, but I don't know if there's even much to say about it. The trailer was good. It looks like a Fallout game. Excited?
There is one thing to say about it.
Okay.
Fuck off and give us Elder Scrolls.
Okay, all right.
Just
now, look, we're jumping the gun to the E3 stuff, but let's get into that, right? They're not going to announce an Elder Scrolls this year. Do you know what? Hang on. We're jumping all over the place. We will get to that when we do after the news. We will talk E3. But Fallout 76, I want to get hype levels on a scale of 1 to 6 stars. 1 to 6 stars, Gary. What are your hype levels for Fallout 76? 6 stars being incredibly hyped. 1 being meh.
1. It's not the Elder Scrolls thing. It is literally because nothing's known.
You don't know.
Just like I can't get hyped about something I don't know about anything about.
I mean, I loved the Fallout series. Like I remember reviewing. I want to say New Vegas for God is a Geek. I think I reviewed. I think I gave it an 8. I played Fallout 3 for a disgusting amount of hours, quite honestly. But by the time we got to Fallout 4, I felt like the games were not different enough. They weren't distinct enough, and I never got through it. So a new Fallout doesn't excite me. Adam Carroll, though, on a scale of 1 to 6 stars, where's your hype level?
I'm going to say 2.
Yep.
I'm going to go 2 because, look, I watched the teaser trailer. Everyone was like, "Oh, the music is brilliant." Shut up. I hate the music was just it was just there. It was a song, a famous song, whatever. That's not the point of this game here. The situation is, I watched the trailer. It looked like it looked literally the exact same as 4. Like,
yep.
It has the same like color palette. Yep. Engine, look and style, everything. It looked like the very beginning.
There's an old-timey radio. We're going to pan away from it. Oh, it's a Fallout trailer.
Exactly.
It feels like maybe it's just going to be another New Vegas. You know, like, which, I mean, I'd be happy with, because New Vegas I thought was better than 3.
Well, that's not what the suggestion is. I say the suggestion is an online survival game.
If it is, I don't know.
I don't really know why, if Fallout are aiming to do like a game that's in a certain period of time, it means fucking nothing because the whole fucking place is destroyed. Like,
well, apparently Fallout Vault 76 is one of the first vaults that was opened. So rather than like 100 years or whatever, it was like 10 years and they came out of the... But I mean, the reason they're doing it is simple. Is they realise that people are playing online games and they want to do another game that's like they can keep iterating on. Like, they want to do the Ubisoft thing, make a game that becomes a service. That's what I would guess this is.
Yeah, like, I don't know. We'll see when it comes out to it. But I just want to do a quick plug, right, on this topic. For anyone that's probably interested in anything Bethesda related, Danny O'Dwyer of No Clip is releasing his new Bethesda documentary in like 2 days. So maybe there might be news about Fallout 76 on that.
Well, apparently I think that one's coming later. So there's a documentary about the history of Bethesda, and there's a documentary on the making of 76. But that, I noticed the date of that is the same day as something E3 related. So in other words, there's a big embargo lifting. He's obviously signed an NDA to get access, and that's going to be
fair enough.
Yeah, so that won't I don't think that will be revealed.
Well, if anyone's actually interested in the history of Bethesda,
definitely.
I think it's going to be a fucking great
I'm
watch.
Looking forward to that. Yeah, me too.
Like, we're all a big fan of Danny's work on No Clip and stuff. So like, and his previous documentaries are incredible. So everyone should check that out as well.
Yeah, the Horizon one I bang on about, and the Doom one. Listen, this isn't the Danny Dwyer podcast. He has been on it a few times, but that's not the point. Moving on to other announcements. Now, this one was the true shock one because I had no idea a Nintendo Direct was coming, let alone a Pokemon Direct. And I certainly had no idea they were going to announce 3 games. Well, 2 games and one we already knew. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, which we'll come to in a moment, was announced. That's coming in November. Pokemon, they say that basically that isn't the kind of next-gen, I guess, RPG that they're talking about. There is still a core RPG in the second half of 2019. It will be in the style of Sun and Moon. That's all we know about that, so we'll have to move along there. Pokemon Quest is an action RPG from Game Freak that's available now, free to play on Switch, and it's coming to mobile in late June. I haven't had a chance to download that yet myself. I intend to, but the big deal here is Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, isn't it? Because that's a trailer. That is a trailer. Or am I alone?
I'm going to say on my side you're alone.
But this marries Pokemon Go with a kind of RPG light version of the Pokemon games on Switch. You can literally transfer your Pokemon from Go over to this. You can trade. There's like a Pokeball that you can throw. I think this looks amazing.
I know what you're saying, but at the same time, I'll wait till that comes out, because when we saw Pokemon Go, everyone was the exact same, and that game ran like fucking ass for weeks.
Yeah, but this is Game Freak developed. It just links to the Pokemon Go. It's not made by the same people, so it should be fine.
Like, but what I will say, Adam, though, is like, is there a situation where I personally, like, I'm not a huge Pokemon fan. I was like back when it was like red and blue and yellow and stuff. But are you really going to be going around with your Switch? Is this unfortunately another game?
Well, no, because I'll catch them on my phone and then transfer them to my Switch and play the RPG part on my Switch. It's co-op as well, so
yeah,
I'm all in, mate. I'm all in. Sorry.
I'm more interested in seeing the actual RPG, the core RPG that's coming.
Oh, of course, yeah.
However, I do think when they're saying, is it what Sun and Moon? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's like them, yeah.
To me, that's not good enough.
No, I'd like a bit more.
I'd like a bit more. Like I want
evolution.
I want a fucking big evolution, because for people like me, I'm completely now lost in the universe of Pokemon. There's just so many different generations. You
almost need a reboot.
I need a reboot. I need to get back in some way. I've played the others and they're pretty fun, but they never hold me, because they always started off with the same old, go here, meet Professor Oak and do this and that, whatever. I want a whole new game, not in the same vein as previous titles, brand new on the Switch. Get me back into Pokemon. This kind of news, I know for Pokemon fans is cool, but I don't know, man. It's not really exciting me at all.
Okay, well look, Gary, I'll ask you this then. Are you excited about Red Dead Redemption 2?
A little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Hey.
He's tempering himself. But basically, the pre-order bonuses have been listed early on Microsoft Store. I mean, basically, here's what we've got. If you pre-order, your bonuses will be the Warhorse, the Outlaw Survival Kit, a cash bonus for Red Dead 2 Story Mode, bizarrely, bonus $500,000 GTA cash to spend in GTA Online. Literally after pre-ordering it, you get that 500,000 cash straight in there. And if you pre-order by July 31st, you get an exclusive treasure map for Red Dead Redemption 2 Story Mode. Nothing huge, but we thought we'd mention it because it's Red Dead and people like Red Dead. Yeah.
I'm just going to be honest and say, as soon as I read this news story and saw like gigantic money figures as a pre-order thing, I just instantly just don't read it, because I want that money in real life, not in a game.
Well, we got some quick hits now. Just a few, sticking with sort of Rockstar. They announced 3 more games coming to Xbox One backwards compatibility: GTA San Andreas, Midnight Club LA, and Table Tennis. So there's 3 good games there, really, I would say. Midnight Club, remember that?
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, same. Korea
it was hard, though. It was really hard.
Yes. Korea have been helping out in their own way, because games have been rated in Korea that aren't announced. So Fortnite for Switch, Borderlands Game of the Year has been rated for PS4, Xbox One in Korea. So that's kind of confirming games we didn't know. Now we'll come to Fortnite when we get to E3. But yeah, that's interesting. I don't know what. There's a lot of stuff leaking in there.
It's awful.
It happens every time this year, doesn't it? Though,
like, not this degree though.
This has been the worst year, because usually I'm always like, I stay away from these kind of leaks, but this is this is bordering impossible, because there's just screenshots being thrown up. Like, everyone is just announcing their shit, and the element of surprise is being ruined. And
it's a bit of a shame, isn't it? Like, I feel like all the conferences. Well, we'll get that.
Well, the next piece was leaked as well, wasn't it? Like about a day before, or no, the very same day, wasn't it? I think.
Well, Team Sonic Racing, which should, for the love of all things holy, be called Sonic Team Racing, but it's called Team Sonic Racing, is coming this winter. We all knew this was happening. I mean, the teaser gave it away. It's another Sonic and All Stars Racing transformed game. Good. That game's really good.
That's on
it's excellent.
Xbox Games with Gold, isn't it? As well, at the minute.
It might be. It's a good game. If you haven't played it, play it.
That one.
Yeah. If you can
really
get it, do.
It's really good. But yeah, that's coming later this year. This last story, we won't dwell on too long because we've got a lot of E3 stuff to discuss, but it's a weird story because a company called NetEase has announced a $100 million investment in Bungie. This just comes from the Wall Street Journal. Bungie CEO Pete Parsons says a big part of our focus is to self-publish in the future. We'll decide the business model and how the worlds we create go into the market. Now, he also says we have a great partner already in Activision. Activision is an amazing partner. All right, mate, heard you the first time. Has been an amazing partner and remains an amazing partner for us. Destiny has been a fantastic experience for both groups. Simon Zhu, the general manager for strategic investments and partnerships at NetEase, says many of us have been fans of Bungie since its early days and have admired the company's resolve and passion for creating big, innovative games. As game developers ourselves, NetEase shares many of the same values as Bungie. We both care about quality, innovation, connecting players and becoming more global in our business. While we're huge fans of the title and love to bring it to China, as far as Destiny 2 is concerned, that decision is ultimately Bungie and Activision Blizzard's. $100 million into Bungie. It's no secret Destiny 2 has not caught fire the way the first Destiny did. But you would assume Activision have them locked down for a third game, wouldn't you? Because why are they talking about self-publishing if they're, how far in the future are we talking?
I think there's a bit of panic. I think there's a slight bit of panic within Bungie right now.
There must be.
In terms of definitely Destiny 2, like how many people do you know that's still playing it regularly? Is it like...
I only know a few people, and they basically play it when new content hits, and they come away very disappointed.
Yeah, I think like if they're going to go for a third title, which
there will be.
It just seems very weird because, we all know that the first Destiny was supposed to do us for years and years and years, and then they come up with the second one, and the second one was improved, definitely, but it didn't hold me. I played it for a couple of hours, but am I really going to be, the third one needs a big, big fucking change. And, obviously the plans have been set out there in some way, and they must have seen it and went, yeah, I say this is going to be finally the one. We want to invest in it. And maybe, I don't know, what was the other title that was announced with Bungie?
What, for Activision? I don't remember.
What was the other fucking... I have to figure it out. Continue anyway, but I have to see what it is.
What do you think of this, Gaz?
I don't know. I'm kind of... I mean, Bungie... I mean, I love the Halo games. And then Destiny came along and I played the shit out of that. It had problems, but I put in... I think it was about 200 hours into it, all in, with all the DLC. And then I started Destiny 2, and... I think I might have played about 4 or 5 hours, and I'm just like, I don't want to play it.
Right.
And if they make a third one, I think it's got to be drastically different. Because let's face it, Destiny 2 was basically an expansion pack that they turned into a full game, because it didn't really have any new enemies. There was no new species, there was no new alien races or anything like that. It was basically, hey, look, you're fighting the same guys you fought in the first game.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, is that it? And
I think,
just not. They improved the storytelling. That I couldn't really fault. That they did well, but the downside was they had characters in there that were just shit.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, you've improved the way you've told the story, but you've now given me these characters which I don't care about.
Yeah.
They're just... Yeah, they made mistakes. Maybe they'll learn.
I wonder would we just see a crazy change for Destiny 3? I wonder, is there... Because there's obviously a panic regarding PUBG and stuff and Fortnite. I'd say they're just fuck. That's... I imagine that's where Bungie wanted their Destiny to be,
yeah,
where those titles are. So I think there will be a massive change in the third title, but whether it'll be good or not is another question.
Indeed. Well, look, it's time. It's time to talk about E3. It's at the time of this coming out, just over a week away-ish. We're going to go through the big names. We're going to talk about what we think will happen, what we want to happen. Let's start. I don't know why I sound so unhappy about this, but let's start with EA, because FIFA will block... I mean, FIFA's
Jesus Christ, FIFA announced.
Well, it isn't actually. It actually isn't, and that's unusual.
Isn't it?
No, it isn't officially announced.
But it's coming. Come on.
Of course it is. Well, it must be. But they've got the World Cup mode, which I've been playing a bit of, with Ultimate Team World Cup mode. So that's keeping people busy. So there's no rush. And we know PES is hitting in August rather than September. So maybe things are different this year. We don't know. We know we're going to see Anthem, which is their Destiny like. We know Battlefield 5 is going to be shown. We know we're bound to be something The Sims. I would think Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 3 is going to be announced, and I think we're going to get an indie game. So pick the bones out of that. What do you guys think?
Well, FIFA obviously is going to be there. That's going to be. They're going to do the big sports thing, because they do that every year, don't they? They'll show like the new Madden, and there'll probably be a new NBA because I think the last one was quite well received after it had a big break.
Can I quickly just jump in as well? Because I never talk about football ever, but I just want to say I really want them to bring back the indoor stadiums.
Right.
Like I want what was that FIFA 98 they brought that indoor stadium
FIFA Street where they did similar.
They did like FIFA Street 5-a-side, whatever it was.
I would love that feature to come back.
Well, it was in the last FIFA. There was like part of the journey, the story mode that had that in there, like a FIFA Street mini mode, but it wasn't a huge part. I think they need to bring it back, as well. I agree.
Yeah.
I couldn't say anything. I've not played a FIFA in. I want to say it was like 13 was the last one I played. Might even been before that. But
I mean, the big game is Anthem, right?
Yeah. You know what? I know that's BioWare, but I want Dragon Age.
Well, it might get.
I want EA to announce that Dragon Age because it's time.
Is it though?
It probably is.
I mean, it's been what was it? 3 years since the last Dragon Age.
It's longer.
I think more.
Might be 4. But I mean that one, that one was brilliant to me. I thought that was stunning.
I was a big fan.
Took some time to get going.
And the way that it ended was basically, I'm not going to spoil it, but it was basically okay. We've got something ready for the next story, and it's like, give me that story, please. just give me it. I don't want to wait any longer.
I think their whole the Anthem thing, like, I'm going to be honest, when that trailer released, I was completely fucking blown away. Like, it looked amazing. Like, the way he was flying through the fucking world was just nuts.
Fucking Iron Man.
I hope the game delivers that, because I don't want, like, when I went and played Andromeda, which I know we won't discuss that, but Mass Effect and stuff there, the gameplay, everything, just awful. I just want Anthem to deliver how that trailer looked.
I think it has to, or I think BioWare are in serious trouble.
Yeah, BioWare need something because...
But that's why I don't think a Dragon Age is the answer. I don't really think so, because a lot of people didn't enjoy Inquisition, and as time has gone on,
they were wrong.
Which, by the way, it's only 4 years. 4 years ago that game came out, 2014.
Only 4 years.
Which is nuts. I felt it was at least 6. I'm not going to lie. I felt like I played that years and years ago. But like, Inquisition hasn't aged very well at all. Like, so their games don't really stand the test of time. So I feel they need a title that is going to do that. And when I saw Anthem, I was like, this could be an absolute smasher of a game. But we know BioWare's history, and we know the way it is. It's a bit messy at the moment, and as you said, they are in trouble. Well, not in trouble, but like, they just need something very fucking strong. But like, I would like to see Dragon Age, but I can't see it happening.
What about Titanfall 3?
I'd absolutely take it. Titanfall 2 is one of the finest first-person campaigns in a long time.
I agree.
It's alright.
It's one of the finest first-person shooters in a long time. Yeah, I think Garden Warfare 3 is an easy win. Battlefield V, as I say, there's not much point dwelling on that, because we know what that's going to be, and we're looking forward to seeing more of that. But I mean, that's probably EA, isn't it?
Yeah, they might.
Skate 4.
You never know. They might give us something a little bit left field, but
Skate 4.
Will we?
It won't. That
will we see anything Star Wars?
People want.
Oh well, that's the other thing. What's that Jade Raymond game?
What, the Star Wars
Jade Raymond?
Yeah.
Jesus, I don't know.
I don't know if they'll show that.
But they need to show something Star Wars because they got the license. They've got to do something each year on Star Wars, surely.
Yeah.
Maybe. Unless they suddenly go Battlefront 3 But I think it's too soon for that.
Too soon for that with Battlefield.
Especially when you've got Battlefield. Yeah, you got Battlefield there.
Way too soon.
But, yeah, I don't know.
Let's jump on to the one I think is actually probably the most interesting, and that's Xbox, Microsoft. Gaz, what do you think? What the hell? Because I'm in two minds as to this. Part of me thinks they will throw the kitchen sink at this. They will announce every exclusive property they possibly could. But the other part of me thinks I'm not so sure they give a shit anymore, and they're quite happy with these third-party games. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, I've got to say it below.
Okay, well, that will be there.
That's going to be there, and it's going to be it's out now.
No chance.
It is. Don't ruin the stream for me, Adam.
Sorry, no chance.
But it's serious.
Chance.
Seriously though, I do think they're going to have Halo 6, and I suspect
do you think so?
Be this year.
Really, but they're going to be Gears. We almost know Gears is going to be there. You think Halo as well?
Yeah, I think Halo would be before Gears, because Halo 5 was before.
But what if Gears isn't Gears of War 5? It's like Gears of War Judgment.
Would that be a good idea? Judgment wasn't particularly
they know
well
they need games, and maybe if they think they can shit out of Gears quickly,
maybe. But I don't know. I think Halo's the one.
Really,
I think they'll close with Halo.
Really,
I do think they're going to do it.
It's got to be there.
I think because as well, if they are going to announce Halo, I feel a lot of these companies now have just went, fuck, a lot of the E3 stuff has been leaked this year. What way should we do this? I think it's going to change the formula that they might have had, and I think they want to have they want to close big. I think a lot of these places they all want to close big.
Yeah.
But I think Halo is going to be Xbox's answer, or Microsoft's answer to this, which to me would not excite me in the slightest. I'd be like, okay, Halo again, here we go, brilliant.
Just
I'm not.
What they need to do is Master Chief. Don't stop giving us extra characters to play as, because it never works.
It
didn't work with Halo 2.
Yeah, I agree.
It didn't work with Halo 2. Why they thought Locke could work in 5, I don't know. Because
I don't know.
1, he was a fucking boring character. Nobody cared about him. And 2, it's not Master Chief. Nobody.
Yeah, they maybe have learned their lesson there. Don't you think? They know that we need the Chief.
The only time it's worked was ODST. And
yeah, that was a great game.
The 2 spin-offs, but they were from the start. You're not playing as Master Chief. This is this is a side story.
Yeah,
and they worked because of that. But when you go, here's a main Halo story, you play as Master Chief, go for it. But then go, but you're gonna play as this guy as well. It's like, I don't want that. Nobody wanted that.
What about right? There's no question I think Crackdown has to be out this year, and I think they have to show a good portion of that game in action, and I think it has to look good.
Yeah. Microsoft need a win this year. I mean, I know, well, Nicola's not here to defend it, but Sea of Thieves, it was good, but it wasn't enough. And I don't even think this new content for it is enough, to be honest. And
the Sea of Thieves, I just want to say that the Sea of Thieves situation is kind of crazy right now, because even just here in Canada, the cinema that I go to, when I walk in, there's a humongous, Sea of Thieves stand. With a big fuck off screen showing the game, and when you sit down for any movie, you'll get a Sea of Thieves trailer at least twice before each movie. It's kind of crazy how much of a push is put into this game, that it's reaching theaters like that. But I don't know where it stands. Is it in a weird spot at the moment? Because I'm not playing it, so I
think there'll be a content update on the show on the here's what we're going to do. Below will be dated, I think. Well,
it's one of those games that need, it deserves something, because there's something there. Just there's not enough of it there at the minute. But I mean, between that and State of Decay 2, they've not had a good year.
Well, Forza Horizon will be out this year, 4, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, well, you all know I'm gonna want that.
Oh, same. I think the Horizon games are great.
The Horizon 3 was amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I do hope. I know it was a while ago. There was that leak of it in Japan. Being set in Japan. Sorry. If they do that, I'm there. Absolutely.
Would you be there if they announced a new Fable?
I don't know. If that's the game that Playground Games are working on, probably, because
it has to be though,
right?
They've
done some great. I know they've basically just been making the Forza Horizon games.
Yeah, but they literally were hiring for someone who knew RPGs. What else is it going to be?
It's either that or maybe they're trying something new. They'll be in a brand new IP.
And that's where I think this is going to be the biggest thing for Microsoft. I feel that they're going to come out with a lot more exclusives because I feel they need to. I think their exclusives since release have been very poor. I think like PlayStation has completely outdone them in the exclusive area, and I think they should get their exclusives together.
I wouldn't say the quality is poor.
In the Blind Forest, Rise of the Tomb Raider was exclusive for a while. They were some good ass games.
Got to PlayStation.
Ori didn't.
I'm talking about.
I know what you mean.
Ori and the Wisp. Ori and the Willow. What's it called? Willow of the Wisp. Ori and the Wisp. Or whatever. There's the sequel to that. Will of the Wisps. Sorry, there was a child's TV program called Willow and the Wisp, and I loved it, and it sticks in my head. But like the new Ori game is one I can't wait to see more of. I'm desperate for them to say it's out this year. Oh, Gary, that's one of the best Metroidvania games ever made.
I'll get around to it at some point.
You won't.
Is that on Game Pass?
No, I don't think it is, actually. It
should be. That's the one that probably should be. Maybe they'll announce that.
So I think they're also going to announce some more backwards compatibility, and I think more Play Anywhere stuff. I think we're going to see. I don't think we're going to see Halo 6. I think we're going to get a teaser for it at the very end. I think the Halo news will be Halo the Master Chief Collection coming to PC.
Oh, what? No way. That can't be it.
Because we had that leak about Sunset Overdrive being rated again in Korea for PC. And I think they're going to bring the rest of their exclusives to PC.
I think that'd be a good move.
Absolutely, brilliant move. Halo has never been on the PC bar that the first one I think and Forge. Bringing all the Halos in a fun package. It's all fixed up. They finally did it. That would be pretty cool for PC users.
Halo 2 was on PC as well.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, but like all the others,
it was like one of the early XP games or something like that.
That's right,
and it was a bit dicky.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna throw a question out there, right? Like devil's advocate here. Do you not think at this stage a game announcement like this old or a franchise this old coming to another console or something?
Yeah,
I'm burnt out of it, lads. I
think Microsoft have gone the other way now. I genuinely wonder if we'll get much more than here's a new Gears, here's new Halo, Crackdown's coming out. You like Forza, that's coming. I wonder because I don't think they're in the business of. They're not going to chase Sony. They can't go and spend the money that Sony has spent on God of War. They can't do it.
No, they can't.
And I think, so what do they do? All they can do, they're waiting for the next gen. And not in a bad way, because all of those amazing games that you and I play, the ones we've talked about all day, Vampyr, ONRUSH, The Crew, Moonlighter, Yoku's Island, Dark Souls, they're all available on Xbox.
Yeah.
So what? They're not going to be too worried.
I think they're going to maybe... You mentioned they Play Anywhere. Maybe chase a few more third parties for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I mean, I think the only one so far was Resident Evil 7. I don't think any of the third parties have done the Play Anywhere. But I think it's something that could work. Like that's something they could chase. But I also think they'll try. Well, I hope they will. I hope to do a big ID at Xbox push because. They keep putting it up, but it's just usually a little, like a teaser reel. That's it, And, I mean, they had that thing recently, didn't they? Like the sale, which was kind of riffing on the old Summer of Arcade. And those Summer of Arcades were brilliant. And
they should bring that back. They should bring the whole thing back.
Xbox needs something like that. Because
pick the 5 best
brilliant games coming out of ID at Xbox, but nobody knows about them.
Yeah,
and it's a shame.
Before we move on from Xbox, I just want to throw in there as well regarding Gears of War. Okay, I really want them to bring that back, and I want them to kind of go, do you know what? Here's a new Gears of War game, because everyone has been a bit shitty towards it for no reason.
Yep.
All of a sudden, I feel Gears of War is just like whatever now. When
Same.
Gears of War,
I don't get it.
To me, absolutely fucking amazing.
Incredible. Yeah,
I love
same.
Like,
I'm with
Gears
you.
Of War, Gears of War 2 is probably in my top 20 games of all time.
Crikey,
and like, I don't know what happened, but everyone all of a sudden just had
it
no
was
interest in Gears of War.
It was a victim of the great "we hate Xbox" movement, and I don't, and so I still love Gears of War. Like, I still love. Judgment was okay, but 1 through 4, I think they're all great games.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. But I do want them to bring it back and kind of prove that like this is still an amazing franchise that you shouldn't forget. But I do hope that if they do bring it into the light, that it isn't going to be like, here's the new Gears of War, it's like Doom. It's that crazy.
I don't think it will. I think what they've got to decide is what they're going to do with the story, because originally I was very much Gears of War, I love it, one of my favourite series, but God, they need to just move on, stop using Marcus. And what actually happened is the best bits were with Marcus. So I think they're in a sticky situation with 5, because they kind of have to choose, which makes me kind of one of them to just almost retcon it and just go, you know what, fuck it. We're going back, you're Marcus. And that's fine. I think now I'm fine with it. Whereas before I was like, look, if you're going to move on, you got to move on.
Because imagine if they were able to deliver a Gears game in the same vein as like God of War. Like, you know, the story was delivered in that sense of passion, and or like The Last of Us or something like that. I think you'd see everyone go, fuck, there's Gears of War. Because maybe the games fell into like repetition in some way. Do you know, it was just firing shit tons of bullets and whatever. But I really hope it gets a bit more attention again.
Okay, well, look, we can get through Bethesda quite easily and quite quickly here, because we know that Fallout's going to be shown. Yep. We know Rage 2 is going to be shown. We know. I think we know that Prey. Did they not announce some sort of standalone Prey thing they did like the last time? That leaves them with showing off some Elder Scrolls Online, which is why you're not going to get your new the Elder Scrolls game, because online still does really well, so they don't need to make a 6.
Stop trying to rip my heart out, Adam. Stop it.
The only question for me is, will we get Doom 2 or not announced? And I thought we would, but now they've announced Rage 2.
Adam.
Yeah,
no.
I know. I think you're right.
Won't get Doom 2.
I think if they hadn't gone for Rage 2,
yeah.
I think Dishonored,
we'll get a logo.
I
don't even know.
I don't know. I wonder if they'll show something new. But
well, this is my thing. I'm going to call this right now. I'm going to say that Bethesda is going to be the top for me. And I'll tell you why. Because of that whole statement of them making out that single-player games are so unbelievably important to them. Bethesda, in my opinion, have been delivering incredible horror games. Like, I think they've been just on top of horror games. Single-player games have been really good. They've surprised us with Doom. There's, like, even to a certain degree, Prey was quite surprising, whether you liked it or not. It was still quite good. The Evil Within, like, there's a lot to discuss with Bethesda, and I think they're like the underdogs here that could end up going, holy fuck, they're releasing that, or maybe. You just don't know what they could put out there. And if they have Fallout, if they've announced Fallout already,
that's the thing.
What else is to come?
What are they saving?
Because if you think about when they announced Fallout 4,
but Rage 2 was definitely going to be an E3 reveal. Like, it was. That leaked out. They damage controlled it. That would have been an E3 thing.
Possibly, but it still wasn't going to be their biggest announcement. Rage 2 is appealing to a certain, like, percentage of audience. Like, you know, it's not like a worldwide fucking holy shit. Like, Fallout would have done the worldwide, maybe not now, but unless they say it's out in 2 or 3 months' time like they did with 4, I can't see that happening. But what is next? Is it actually going to be Doom 2? Like, because we know nothing about it. That's where I'm thinking, like, Doom 2, there you go, not out for another, like, 2 years or something.
What about
You're kind of going,
Quake? What happened to Quake?
That's out, mate. Well, people play that Quake
Champions.
But yeah, that's it.
What about an actual, like, the single-player Quake?
Nah.
I'd like to see a return to that. And they were very good.
Yeah, but I think what Doom has done, I think people are just like, yeah, Doom, that's all I want now.
Do you think maybe we get a Wolfenstein 2 side story like we did with The Old Blood? Or New Blood? The Old Blood.
Probably be something along that lines, definitely.
I don't think we will, because we've already had... There was DLC, whereas the first game didn't have any until they did The Old Blood as a standalone.
Dishonored?
I think we'll get Evil Within 2 DLC, I just want to say.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
I don't know, because I just don't... I love that game, but I don't think it did well enough to get any. Like, I don't even think we'll get an Evil Within 3.
Well, let's...
Oh, don't say that.
Let's talk big money then. Let's talk big money, because, we'll blast through Square Enix quite quickly, because they're a pretty known quantity. You know, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, they'll have something. Kingdom Hearts 3, they'll have something. Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Adam Carroll, yes or no, will we see any 7 Remake gameplay?
We absolutely have to. We have to.
No, but will we?
I fucking don't know. It's impossible. Like, the way I am with Final Fantasy VII is the way I am with Resident Evil 2. It's just like, what is going on? Like, give me something. Just give me fucking something. I think we have to see gameplay. I would like to think that it will happen. However, I think it's going to cause a shitstorm. I think whatever they'll show of Final Fantasy VII's remake, I think people are going to be like, what the fuck is after happening?
I don't. I think we'll see CGI again. I do. I really do.
I don't want to see.
The thing that confuses me about it is they showed this ages ago, didn't they? They were like, okay, we're finally doing it. We're listening. And it's like, oh, nice one. Cool. And then, was it earlier this year or maybe end of last year? They're like, oh, yeah, we're recruiting people to make this game. Like, but you've not done that already?
Yeah.
That says to me that it's nowhere near like being shown, basically. I know they showed that we had those screenshots, didn't we, a little while back, and it's like, oh cool, but I don't think it's anywhere near showable. If that's even a word.
In some cases, right, it's not said a whole pile, but I actually think Final Fantasy VII, out of everything that could be put out there on E3, I think this is actually one of the most, like, will we actually see it? Because, like, it's one of the greatest games of all
over
time.
Again.
Yeah.
Duke Nukem Forever.
Yeah. But, like, there's so much that needs to be explained about this remake. So fucking, like, it is episodic. Like, that's just straight off the bat bananas.
Yep.
How is this game episodic? Like, what is going on there?
Each episode's a disc.
Like, who made that choice and who said, brilliant?
I think Square made that choice because of the money it would take to remake that whole game now.
But at what stage in development? Like, how far into the game did they go, this should be episodic? Was the game even started, like, its development? Like, what is going on with this?
I'm looking forward to the cliffhanger as she falls back into the pool. Is she dead? Is she alive? See you in episode 2 in 2075.
Imagine, holy shit.
Yep. Imagine Just Cause 4. Yes or no? Is that a thing?
Oh, please.
I haven't even played the third one.
That's a disgrace, Gary.
I played the second one. It was alright. It's just... for some reason, I've not been able to get into that series at all.
You don't need to get into the series because the series is just whatever. But 3 is just, if you ever want to just play something with your mind switched off, play Just Cause 3. That game is hilarious in the stuff you can do, and it's so much fun. I really do recommend. I think it was actually up on PS Plus not so long ago. If you didn't get that game,
I got it on that. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Surely I could just play Far Cry 5.
No,
I'm going to say
that kind of daftness.
No,
as Adam said, different games. Just Cause 3 is far more over the top.
Well, lastly, oh, go on. Sorry, Ad.
No. It's just far more over the top.
Lastly, then the Avengers. That's the Square Enix game, isn't it?
Yep. If this is the thing that Rocksteady are working on, I'm interested.
Oh God, yeah.
But I want to see this.
Don't Warner Brothers own Rocksteady?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, they can't be working on a game for Square Enix, then, surely.
Oh wait, no, actually, no. I'm not sure they do.
I'm having a look now. It is a subsidiary of Warner Brothers. So, hang on a minute. Hang on, Gary. The company is a subsidiary of Warner Brothers Interactive with a 74.9% ownership, while Square Enix Europe owns the remaining 25.1%.
Oh. So that maybe it is. Maybe it is that.
Oh, it's
although I'd like to see Rocksteady take on another Batman game.
They're going to do Superman.
Oh, no, give me Wonder Woman.
No, they're definitely going to announce. I think we're going off the beaten track here, small, but I think Rocksteady are going to announce Superman at E3. They've been gone away for far too long.
Well, look. We're really into speculation territory now. I think Ubisoft are a very, very easy one to predict, and I'm going to just say this. This is what I've got written down. We know we'll see The Division 2, Beyond Good and Evil 2, Skull and Bones will bound to be there. We know now there's a new Assassin's Creed, and I'm guessing Splinter Cell, and I'd say that's probably then done for the evening. No?
Would you think? I'm just going to put it out there. Would you think it'll be a long way off? But I'm going to say Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle 2.
No, too soon. The DLC's out this month.
Watch Dogs 3 thing is
Watch Dogs 3 is possible, but if they're showing another Assassin's Creed though, that's a bit too much open world Assassin's Creed Watch Dogsing, isn't it?
I don't know. That's Ubisoft though, isn't it? They're very much the open world.
They have been. I think they're moving away from that much. I mean, if maybe they announce it, I suppose. But I think Ubisoft is the easiest to pick this year. I think we're going to get gameplay demos of all those. Division 2, Beyond Good and Evil 2, you know.
I'd like to see them do another one of the old, what's it called? Like the UbiArt game.
UbiArt games, yeah. Well,
I'd like to see them do something else.
John Light 2 or a new Rayman, but I don't think we're going to get any of that.
I'd love a new Rayman.
I don't think we're going to get any of that, I'm afraid, lads. I think that is...
Brilliant.
I think that's Ubisoft up and down, to be honest with you. We're not talking about Splinter Cell, but we have done in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Sony
I think that's the thing they'll close their show with, like their big surprise thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll be Sam Fisher pulling down the goggles and staring at us. That's it. We'll be like, all right, cool.
It'll be like everything will go black and you'll just hear the sound of the goggles.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I also can't wait for Sony to have a Death Stranding gameplay demo. So everyone can go on about how amazing it is, while still probably not really understanding what the game is. But Sony, Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima.
Adam, everyone's going to give out anyway.
Of course they are. Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, and The Last of Us Part 2. Now, those are the 4 I believe they've announced are definitely going to feature. And they seem to be suggesting their show's going to be different this year. They're going to be the 4. We're going to get an Indies trailer. We're going to get PSVR stuff. I think they're going to skip Days Gone because of the similarity between that and Last of Us. I think people keep confusing those two games now, which is not a good look. They announced that Medieval reboot or remake. God of War DLC, maybe? Is it too soon to announce Horizon Zero Dawn 2? I think it might be.
Well, look, everything that we've said there, Death Stranding, Ghost, Spider-Man, Last of Us, Days Gone, Medieval, Bloodborne 2, and Horizon Zero Dawn 2.
I never said Bloodborne 2.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine.
But, if they announce these things, they surely can't announce all that at one E3.
No, and they wouldn't. They wouldn't. Do you think... Let's just look. We've got a question that we're not going to do listed correspondence. We did get one. I'm going to throw it out here because my answer is one you've just kind of answered. Matthew Fallon at Fallonator32. If you had one pie in the sky announcement as crazy as you like, what would it be? I think mine's Bloodborne 2. Because I don't think that's happening. And I think I do want it badly. I just don't really...
What was that one that they did announce? The new FromSoft game?
Yeah, Shadows.
They did announce something, didn't they? But it was just a brief teaser which showed nothing. But it did have a Bloodborne vibe to it. I remember that much.
Did
they name it?
Did they name it? Teaser thing?
I'm trying to look for it.
No, they didn't. There was like a tag saying something, and
sorry. The game is known as Shadows Die Twice, which is because that's what it says in the trailer.
Yeah,
Adam, it has to be Bloodborne 2. I'm sorry, it's going to be announced. I really do think it's going to be announced. In terms of going with what Matthew asked, for me, I would lose my absolute biscuits imagine it's like going back to what we were saying about Sam Fisher turning to the screen and blah 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 and you see the goggles. I want that to happen, but this time I actually see Isaac Clarke's mask and I want Dead Space coming back. Yeah. That is just...
I mean, that's up there for me, isn't it? But
that's my pie in the sky.
For me, I've already mentioned it earlier, but Soul Reaver or Legacy of Kain, I'd love to see.
Well, I mean, I've added 2 games to the list that don't really fit in here. We've got Nintendo off this, but before we hit Nintendo up...
I don't know, actually. I'd say the second one could be a Sony thing.
That's why I say I think Devil May Cry 5 and Resi 2, I think they're likely to be on Sony's stage if they're anywhere.
But maybe Resi 2 would be my pie in the sky announcement.
Is it too soon for Resident Evil 8?
Oh, yeah, it is. It is because I think... Look, I'm going to say it right there. Resident Evil 2 is like the biggest deal for me at E3. I don't know why. It's just like it's one of my favourite games of all time. But there's so much about this that has to be explained. And there's so many rumours going around. Like, only this week it's been announced that it will be at E3. Like, rumours. That it will be at E3. It is going to have apparently the same view as Resi 4. Over the shoulder kind of job.
I had not heard any of this.
Yeah, so it is going to have that apparently, which I'm, for one, not gone on. I would like them to have it also with the option of going back to the old camera view, because it's very important to have those angles for me. Apparently it's going to be running on the exact same engine as 7.
Okay.
And it's going to look, it's rumoured, again, it's going to look to have the quality, a game that has been mentioned as God of War. In terms of visuals.
Okay.
Which
I'm finding a lot of that hard to believe.
It is, but apparently, like, in this, the sources are pretty legit, according to the places I've seen them at. I don't believe all this until it's announced, obviously, but it's nice to speculate and think, would you want it this way? Because for me, it's such an important game. I don't know if I want it to be that fucked with. I just want it to be like what they did with the Resi 1 remake. I think I'm just happy with that, but they're taking so long with this. And they're announcing they've announced
nothing.
They
did that dev video. I think they did one after that, but that's it.
It's just we are doing it or whatever it is, and it's just like, okay, cool. And there's so much rumors built up to it that I think it will be announced, and I think it's probably going to either blow our socks off or else just make us go, what is after happening? This is not the same game.
I was actually wondering if they'd do it like 7 and go first person.
Yeah.
But do you want that? Do you want it to be...
I don't know what I want. Same as Resident Evil 7 for me. What do you really want from a remake of that?
I don't mind. I mean, if I was being, like, brutally honest, I'd be like, yeah, I'd like it like the first remake. You know, the pre-rendered background, all that kind of stuff. That'd be brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, it's so perfect.
As long as it's good and it kind of follows the original plot, maybe with a few extras, I don't mind if they change the actual, the view or anything like that.
But I don't know. I think it's hard to say that, because when you play it, the experience, I started playing Resident Evil yesterday again, the remake, and it's just like the way the camera goes in at certain angles and stuff makes the atmosphere of that game so unbelievable. And if you start doing it in this first-person view, yeah, it's cool, but if you're going to do first-person, they better fucking give it a VR option as well.
Oh, they will. If they do it in first-person, it'll be VR.
Yeah, but there's a lot that needs to be explained, and if they go, because they've missed the anniversary, which is absolutely disgraceful. I don't know why they just didn't do something there, even just announce a fucking logo or something, just show us or a screenshot or something. They've missed that, so now E3 is the biggest platform to announce anything gaming related. If they skip that, like, I'm really going to be pissed off. I'm really going to be annoyed.
That gives me a lovely chance to mention that we're on to Nintendo, really, and if they miss this opportunity to announce Animal Crossing, like you, come on,
Yeah,
we've had a laugh, we've had a drink, but come on, Nintendo, it's time. Isn't it?
But do you not... In some cases, though, Adam, right, when they announced, to go back to the news story of the Pokemon announcements, when they announced those 3 new titles or whatever, I actually did say to myself, I think that's Animal Crossing gone. I think that's where they're not going to... I think the outside go aspect with your Switch is so heavily focused on Pokemon and I think Fortnite. I think that's where they're going with. I don't think Animal Crossing is a priority right now. I think it's going to happen, but I don't really know how important they realise it is to some people.
Well, I think Fortnite will be there and it's available now thing I think that is coming to Switch, and I think it will be announced at E3 available now. There's no reason not to. It's not a new game. No. It will do gangbusters on Switch. They will make a lot of money between the two of them. I think that's going to happen. I think we'll see Pokemon. I think we'll see a lot more Smash Brothers than I want to see because I'm not a fan. Suspect they'll probably update us on Splatoon 2's DLC because that's out soon. Probably the same for ARMS. Pikmin, maybe a new Pikmin. Are we going to see Metroid Prime 4? Let's hope we see something on it. Punch-Out is the other one, I guess, the outside chance for me. I'm hoping there'll be a new Punch-Out. You know?
Yeah.
Mario Maker.
I would like to see some...
I know.
We have Zelda... there, but if I'm honest, I can't see.
I think it's too soon for Zelda or Mario. And the reason I didn't put Mario Maker 2 down, Gary, is because honestly, I've seen the way that Nintendo have handled Mario Maker, and then I saw how they handled the 3DS version. I don't think they've got any idea what to do with that game, and I don't think they've got any idea. They don't understand how much people love it at all. I don't think they understand it at all, and I really think it's a shame because I think that's one of the best, most original things they've done in years. It's the reason my Wii U is still unpacked, that and that Mario 64 I've got on there. I don't think they have a clue. The fact they shut Miiverse down says it a lot. I don't think they know how good that Mario Maker is. That's why I think we won't see that.
Nintendo are a weird one, because it's just they've done so well, obviously, and people are really happy with obviously it's Odyssey and Breath of the Wild and all that lot. But they have proved that they still don't listen to what people want.
Yep.
I mean, look how long it took them to announce Metroid Prime 4. People have been asking for that for years. The same Pokemon. People have been asking for a core Pokemon game on I'd say a home console. I know the Switch is a hybrid, but they've been asking for that for so long, and they're only just now that they've basically gone, oh, actually, no, this console's not quite a home console anymore. They're only just doing it. It's just they're not listening to what people want.
No, I completely agree, right? But just playing devil's advocate again, okay? If you were in their shoes and you knew deep down, that the audience want another Metroid game, when they brought out, what was the one with the DS that came out last year or 2 years ago?
Metroid 2, wasn't it? Samus Returns.
No, not that one. Sorry,
the
fucking
Federation
one.
Force or
something.
Oh,
sorry. Yeah.
That stuff. Yeah, right. Do you think there's a situation where they know, putting this out, it's gonna be bashed. We're gonna get abused. But do you feel that they're yeah, we will put out Metroid Prime again. We will do this, but they must be in their heads going, how and what way do we do this? Because they cannot release Metroid Prime 4 in an average state. Not that they ever really do that with many of their games, but when a game gets thrown out quickly by Nintendo, it's pretty you can definitely tell you didn't put enough time into this. So when they do put their time into a title, it's absolute fire. It's just gold. There's a lot riding on these Nintendo more than any other developer out there or any other company, I think.
We don't know what Retro Studios are working on. So there'll be something for them. No. I mean, I don't want to go backwards, but I've just remembered, I think another thing we'll see, the rumoured Xbox, we didn't mention it, I think Nier Automata will come to Xbox, and it'll be announced at E3, because that was rumoured as well, wasn't it? But Metroid Prime 4 was a complete unknown. We don't know anything about it. No one knows anything. No. It's rumoured that Bandai Namco are developing it. So what are Retro working on if they're not working on that? Will there be a new Donkey Kong game? Bayonetta 3 we forgot all about. That'll be shown, won't it?
Yeah. I don't know where the audience sits on something like Bayonetta 3. I want it, 100%, but it's unusual. It's just an unusual title. It's an unusual franchise. It's not for everyone. And I think, I don't really know how well the release of 1 and 2 went not so long back.
I think they sold well. I think they sold quite well, because it's a Switch game, and everything on Switch sells well.
Do you think they're going to focus quite a bit on the online aspect
of Bayonetta?
No. No. Like in general.
No,
like,
I think that'll be a mistake. I think we'll see a lot of Smash Brothers. A lot of Smash Brothers.
Like, do you think they're keeping the whole back? Like, oh, maybe not. They have said they're not going to do it. They're not going to release the old games. I don't know. It's hard to tell with Nintendo. They're just fuckers in their ways. Like, it's just.
Well,
I don't want to see Labo. I don't want to see Labo.
You'll see Labo. You'll see Labo 3 and 4 announced, I think. But yeah, it's going to be. Listen, E3 is going to be an exciting show. There's going to be a lot of games announced we know about that have been leaked. There's going to be a lot that we don't know about, and I'm looking forward to it. I will say I'm already tired, so that's a great start. But I'm looking forward to it. I think we all are. It's time to end this podcast. It's definitely time to end this podcast, but not before saying, hey, go and read Mick's Vampyr review. Go and read Gary's ONRUSH review. We've got a Sushi Striker the Way of the Sushido review coming up. Moonlighting review in process. There's still stuff happening during E3. Jurassic World Evolution's out June the 12th, I think. Don't know.
Yeah,
there's a new Jurassic World game out now. Did you know that?
Yeah, the Pokemon Go style one.
Let's not talk about that, please.
I'm going to leave that one well alone.
Sure.
Why haven't we played that?
Some of us have. Significantly a lot. No. That's the time for another podcast. Do follow myself at JeebusF on Twitter. Gary's at BlueFury47. Adam's at AdamsOaks. Obviously at God is a Geek. And again, as always, if you just type God is a Geek into Google or whichever search engine you prefer, a lot of people seem to be going back to Firefox. So, maybe people will start using Bing or something. I don't know. Listen, just type God is a Geek in. Make sure you get that podcast downloaded every week by going to iTunes or whatever podcast app you choose and leaving a review and subscribing. All that. Listen, it's a long podcast. I shouldn't have to say this if you've stuck it out for 2 hours, but I have done. Also, patreon.com/GodIsAGeek for $1 a month. You'll get this podcast early. Not quite as early this week because there's some embargo stuff we couldn't skirt around. And obviously you get the extended version, which is usually between 5 and 20 minutes or more sometimes of chatter about movies, music, stuff that isn't games related, really. Adam and Gary, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Thought you'd both passed out from the lack of sleep.
No, it's E3, lads.
You're going to have to get used to that. E3 is coming. We've done our preview. Let's see how right we were being this time next week. We won't know yet, but hey, listen. We'll have a podcast for you one way, rain or shine. Thanks very much for listening, and we'll speak to you whenever you choose to listen. Bye for now.